Arriving at the very small site of Tel Mar Elias, which is both a 4th and 5th century churches as well as a 6th century church. Down the bottom here is the smaller of the churches, and when we go up those stairs we'll find the baptistry and the larger churches. Down in this lower church you've got a couple of naves just edged into the bedrock just here. But you can't see it, but underneath here, underneath these plastic tarps and sand is mosaics. That's the way that they preserve the mosaics, by having them protected from the elements, but then we can't see them, so we just have to look online and see what they look like. And this is the lower church. I must have known I was coming. There's been a lot of work since I was here last, and there is a trail so that you do not have to walk up all of the stairs. Let's go and explore this trail. Tel Mar Elias, or the Hill of Elijah, has two Byzantine churches, as I say, a 4th and 5th century, and then a bigger 6th century. This is the 6th century Byzantine church, and it has two naves down each side, an aisle. Elijah was supposed to be from a village called Tishbe, so he was known as Elijah a Tishbite, from Tishbe in Gilead. I don't say the E, I say the E, Gilead. Elijah was important to all three of the monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity and Islam. Elijah is quoted in the Quran with the phrase something to the effect of respect of the spirit of Nebuchadnezzar Elias, I-L-Y-A-S, Elias. Apparently, Elias was a Hebrew prophet who ranked up there with Moses in saving the religion of Yahweh from being corrupted by the nature worship of the god Baal, B-A-A-L. Elias or Elijah means Yahweh is my God is Yahweh, depending on how you want to interpret it. During the reign of Ahab in 875 to 850 BC and the Phoenician queen Jezebel of Tyre, Elijah spoke out for the Lord. So that's clearly why he's known as supporting Yahweh, the God. You'd have to read the Bible or the Torah, Old Testament and New Testament. Elijah speaks to the power of holding back the rainfall, and that made him a threat to the god Baal, the god of nature, the god of storms and fertility. Elijah had a victory for the Lord with the execution of 450 prophets of Baal. So clearly Elijah wasn't necessarily a peace-loving individual if he was implicated in the execution of 450 people. On some of the trees you can see ribbons tied, and this is pilgrims bringing their prayers to this space. This site has a baptistry, a baptismal font. This site was also very important for the local sheep herders, because if they had injured or sick sheep, they would bring the sheep up here and they would miraculously get healed, according to some of the information on Wiki. In Judaism, Elijah was identified as a persecutor of the Messiah. Elijah was associated with combating society ills and by caring for the poor, and he also punished the unjust. Elijah is also identified with the wandering Jew, where there is an empty space at the table for a Seder table. And it's just recently been Seder. Today is the 4th of July, so Seder was probably about 3 weeks ago. Elijah is seen as the protector of newborns, so that's probably another reason why when locals' sheep are ill, they bring them up here to get miraculously healed. Elijah can be identified in the Hebrew Bible as the messenger in Matthew 7:10-13, Mark 9:11-13, and Luke 9:1-17, where it could be interpreted that Elijah was John the Baptist. And then for the Transfiguration in the Hebrew Bible, Matthew 17:1-8, Mark 9:2-8, and Luke 9:28-36, where Moses and Elijah talked with Jesus. The last kind of interesting thing about this site is how Elijah ascended to heaven. There's 2 stories about how Elijah ascended to heaven, and one of them is that when he died, he rose to heaven in a chariot of fire. But that one doesn't seem to be as credible as the story that said, because he was opposed to Baal, and Baal had to do with rainfall and water, that Elijah and his wife, I'm going to say it's Elisha, were separated by the water, and then Elijah was taken to heaven in a whirlwind. So depending on which interpretation that you would like to believe about the ascension of Elijah to heaven, you can choose either one of those, a chariot of fire or a whirlwind. So this is a very important site to all 3 monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity and Islam, because Elias is referenced in all 3 of the books.